ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानंदमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all. We are deliberating verses from this 8th chapter. The name of this chapter is Akshara Brahma Yoga. And how we come to this idea at the end of 6th chapter. So Bhagavan, which was called that 6th chapter, Shashta Adhyaya, it was called as Dhyana Yoga. And in the 7th chapter, we see Bhagavan is speaking about the ideas of how Arjuna can contemplate, and he, while in that flow, then he tried to correct him, or rather caution him not to mistake that his real nature, so that he is everywhere, but what his truly true nature is, that is not to be mistaken as matter. So that verse is important. Verse number 12. So in verse number 12, and then here at the end of this 7th chapter and in the beginning, he explained this idea, then again carrying forward the same idea, that how you can think about me, what I am, my nature is, what I am, what I truly am, and how permeated, enveloping everything I am. That we see that in 11th chapter it is called as Virat Yoga, or in the 10th chapter it is called as Vibhuti Yoga, but its beginning we see right from here, that there exists nothing but this one truth, to which Bhagavan identifies, and Sri Krishna is Yogastha when he is speaking that. So he's saying to me, Mam, etc., identifying himself with that truth. So ideas of this Adhibhuta, Adhidaivata and Adhiyajna, again in summary, it is again one way to tell to Arjuna, and that I have become everything, Adhibhuta Ksharau Bhava, that whatever is perishable, that is matter. That is Adhibhuta. Adhidaivata is Purusha within a human being. That consciousness, Pratyagatman, which one can realize within. And he says Adhyajna, that like this whole everything, that there is something perishable, there is something unperishable, that is Purusha, Adhidayota, and that in Sankhya, there is this concept and very nice idea. I like this idea very much, and I always, it is very beneficial to think for a spiritual aspirant in those terms. What does it say? Like Sankhyas have ultimately they consider these two ultimate principles, Purusha and Prakriti. Like Vedanta they say, Uttar Mimamsa they say there is only one. Sankhya's say Purusha and Prakriti. Now they say that Purusha and Prakriti, when they get, one cannot be misjudged for other, because Prakriti is Jada and Purusha is Chaitanya. Chit and Jada cannot be intermixed. That is definite. They are very certain about it. Very clear. Only this somehow, this overimposition of one over the other, and they say this is the cause of whole creation. उसके बिना नहीं हो सकता. So this apparent admixture of these two principles, Purusha and Prakriti, and whole creation ensues. Now they say, what is the goal? The goal of everything, all endeavor is Kaivalya. Kaivalya is that aloneness. Kevala means alone. That alone. Keval matra. This much only. Mulya. Keval 1 rupaya. So price 1 rupee only. So Keval is that much. Only. Aloneness. So Kaivalya is aloneness. So aloneness of what? Aloneness of Purusha. That Purusha will realize that it is not mixed ever with Prakriti. That is the moksha. So there is no bondage, there is no karma, there is no creation. This has never happened. That dream is broken. That cycle therefore is broken. And that's how the Purusha will attain the moksha. Now, what Sankhya says here, that idea is very nice. They say, see, all this play of Prakriti which is going on. So, under the Prakriti, under the Jada, as I have repeatedly told you, that your Antakarana, Mana, Chitta, Buddhi, Ahankara, all modifications of your mind stuff, your emotions, experience, everything, your memories, everything, good, bad, everything, great, noble, ugly, wretched, everything of it is the part of under the realm of Prakriti. That is Prakriti, not to be mistaken. So, they are saying, so all this play of Prakriti is going on, meaning that how a man takes birth, to which parents, to which kind of family, tradition, heritage, lineage, surrounding, neighborhood, friends, then shiksha, shikshak, opportunities, success, failure, struggle, everything. Vivaha, patni, putra, samsar, everything. All of it, whole of it. They say it has but one motive. It is not without motive. It has one motive. What is that motive? So that eventually Purusha realizes its Kaivalya. How wonderful thought this is. Can you imagine that your life has one purpose? It is flowing in such a way you are having sweet and bitter experiences so that eventually you crawl up this path and reach its destination called this moksha, called this Kaivalya. Great idea. So what we are experiencing, so it is meant to convey us certain lessons uh, uh, which we must learn from, derive right conclusions, inferences, make amendments, and see those life experiences from that point of view. So I like this idea very much, and I have seen as much you try to run away, wheresoever your weakness is, this nature will bring you across those weaknesses of yours. It will expose you again and again and again and again. It is always. So unless you master that, unless you rise above that, it is not going to leave you. So that is something. So this idea that this perishable, that everything of this prakriti, of this matter, is as if is offered as ahuti to what? To that imperishable adhidaivata which is within you, that Atman. This, like a yajna, it is going on. So this whole this process, this yajna, this sacrifice is going on, eternal sacrifice is going on. And who is there? Whenever the yajna, the idea of yajna, so he has used that term adhiyajna. Adhiyajna means adhishtatri devata of the yajna. So Bhagavan says, I am the adhiyajna. That he is the witness. He is the power, the adhisthana, by whose grace everything is happening. So look, so though this one of the people who are looking on YouTube or listening to YouTube, just for the record, so here a question came up from the audience. Though it is not exactly to the matter which we are right away discussing, but nonetheless it is connected to this issue. It is from the 5th chapter, the ideas of karma, vikarma and akarma. So karma and karma is the very straight away concept, that what you are supposed to do, that is kartavya. Okay. And vikarma is which is opposite, that which you are not supposed to do, that is vikarma. That doing something would be exactly opposite of the mandate or opposite of this jurisprudence of what you were supposed to act, how you were supposed to do, how you were supposed to conduct yourself. And the idea of karma, where is that verse? This is chapter 5. 1 second. All right. So no problem, because these ideas are to be discussed and thought over again and again. So there is nothing wrong about thinking about these ideas. So there is no problem. I am not able to. Is this from the 5th chapter? It is from the 4th chapter. You do not remember. So it should be, I think it is from the 4th chapter. 1 second. Or maybe it can be in the 3rd chapter also. 1 second. I just want to look at one point before I say. Now, what this part, that what you said, this karmani akarma pashyet, this verse is there. Whether this idea kim karma kim karmeti, this is also very important verse. Karmana hyapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. So this is the verse you are referring to. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. Isn't it? That so look, one point. Now these verses, when generally we try to see, I always have insisted upon this outlook, that look, always try to look those verses in the course of conversation what is going on. So it will always help you to form a better judgment and understanding of these ideas. Okay. Now just if you see why I say he says so. So Bhagwan is saying, instructing to Arjuna that you should not refrain from doing action. And here the just verse before what he is saying, and even in that verse also he says kim karma kim akarma iti. Kavaya means kavi, and in plurals kavayah. Api atra mohita. So this matter is so complex that what is karma and what is akarma. So this matter, these ideas, they have been very eluding to the even the kavi means jnani, even the knowledgeable person. Sometimes it is very confusing to these people. Mohitaha, they cannot take the right decision. Their mind is clouded. How to act? Mohitaha, you can have the very exact upper understanding of it. That is the nature of moha. It is tamas. So he says, Tatte karma pravakshami yajnatva mokshasi shubhat. So I will teach you. Bhagavan is saying that knowing which you will get free from this ashubhat. Tatte karma pravakshami yajnatva mokshasi ashubhat. And he says, then comes this verse, 17th verse from this 4th chapter, that you have to know all these three things. So I have one point what want to correct what you have said. Like these ideas, two ideas are very clear. The karma, what is your duty? Vikarma is what is you would be doing exactly opposite to the mandate which you are not supposed to do. But the idea of akarma is wrong, because what you have said akarma in the sense, so exactly which comes in the later verse, the 18th verse, karmani akarmaya paschet. Here the idea of akarma is something different. Now here is in the 18th chapter, here is the idea of the jnani. Karmani akarmaya paschet, in the action who sees inaction. And in he sees inaction as also action. Akarmani cha karmaya. Now here two times karma and akarma, these words are coming in this first part of the verse itself. First, so two times. But this akarma word also two times it is coming. Karma word also two times coming. Karmani akarmaya paschet, to see inaction into action. Now this is the state of the jnani. So here akarma is different thing. And akarmani cha karmaya, seeing action in any action, this akarma is a different thing. These two akarma words are different. So what is the idea in the second? That seeing action in inaction. What is the idea? That not doing sometimes something because of your whatsoever self-interest or whatsoever, like here in the case of Arjuna, very much it happens with many of us, and most of us, sometime or other or many times it happens, we do not take action. Most of the time it is because we do not have guts, we do not have gumption, we do not have courage. Most of the time this is fear, when we cannot take action. So this is the second part, this idea of akarma, that you should know when not to act or what not to do. That is karma, that is vidhayaka. This is what you are not supposed to do. Akarma, the idea of akarma. So here Bhagavan is saying in the 17th, in the first verse, that you are supposed to know what you should do. You are supposed to know what you are not supposed to do. You are also supposed to know vikarma, that is which would be acting in exactly opposite of this mandate. That is the direct violation of these mandates, vidhi and nishedh. Which would be, and vikarma is exactly which would be violating this vidhi and nishedh. Karma, akarma, what you should do, what you should not do, and something which would be go exactly opposite to this. So these three things you should know. This is what Bhagavan is saying. So that is precisely knowing, or for a person in a particular context of time, place and cause. So this is how, so that person's idea, his thinking is very clear about his kartavya. Now Bhagavan is saying this is the, and because the person who attains this, in the second verse, in the following verse he is saying that the person who sees inaction in action and action in inaction, he says, because sa buddhiman manusheshu sa yuktah krishna karma krut. So that person is indeed very intelligent among the men. Manusheshu. So it means that it is not an ordinary thing. It is extraordinary indeed. And sa yuktah, that he is yogastha, that his knowledge, his intelligence, his wisdom is well implanted in yoga, and he is Krishna Karmakrut, that he had fulfilled all his duties. Krishna means all. Karma, Krut, karma means here kartavya, and Krut means who has fulfilled all his obligations, all his duties. Now this is a higher state, and in the 17th verse we see that there is something which Bhagavan is introducing the ideas of. So karma, and here, so karma there is not akarma, the idea of this one. Now this you are supposed to know, and second part of your question was how we are going to practice, we are going to do, follow it in our day-to-day life, and because all our actions, they are fraught with these kinds of drawbacks, shortcomings, failures, etc. Now look at the fourth quarter of this chapter. As soon as Bhagavan says these things, that karmano hi api bodhavyam, bodhavyam cha vikarmanah, akarmanascha bodhavyam, gahana karmano gati. Bhagavan is saying we are supposed to know these three things, but remember, their gati, their flow, or the way of karma itself is very deep, Arjuna. Very deep. So in a way, Bhagavan is saying, so going this way is very difficult. That everything to know precisely what your karma, akarma and vikarma is, and then act according to it, so it is almost next to impossible. And thus he shows in the following verse the another way. So knowing everything correctly and never falling into trap in a karma yoga, and in Swamiji, in other lectures on karma yoga, he had emphasized this point, and very much. So karma yoga is not exactly knowing all these things and doing it. So because it is complex, how you are going to do, that's why they say that no work, Swami Vivekananda says, that it is perfectly pure or perfectly impure. No work is without absolutely any fault. It is never so. Whatever is going to do, this world, its nature, this creation, imperfection is its nature. It is inherited. Every work of ours, whatsoever good, it would have some dosha in itself. It is impossible. So how do then perfected being act? And that way is shown hereafter. So it is not we are trying to achieve this perfection. That is not the way to the perfection, because it is impossibility. It is no way. That is not the way. You are not going to achieve that way. That is the mindset. No, you have faults, you have shortcomings. You can never think that you will be absolutely perfect. We are not trying to seek perfection in that way. That is very much the idea of spiritual life and its practices. कि मैं सब दोषों से मुक्त हो जाऊंगा, मैं कोई भी दोष उसमें गलती नहीं रहेगा. That is what not spiritual life is teaching you. Neither spiritual philosophy is teaching you. They are not teaching you that. होगा, they rather teach you different thing. श्री रामकृष्ण का एक सुंदर एग्जाम्पल है. अब ये दृष्टांत जो है, तो श्री रामकृष्ण का ये वचनामृत आप पढ़िए, बहुत बहुत पढ़िए, उसके साथ शास्त्र पढ़िए. Then you will be very nicely correlate these ideas from where from Sri Ramakrishna is speaking, and what are the meanings of these simple parables and simple similes and simple anecdotes he have used to make a point. He gives he says that, see, if there is a wooden sword, metal sword, steel sword, iron sword, now what will happen if you have that philosopher's stone? परिस जिसको कहा गया कि जिसके स्पर्श से लोहा भी सोना हो जाता है. So there is this magical stone, philosopher's stone it is called. So by its touch, iron, that steel sword would be converted into gold sword. So what will happen? That sword has become gold. Whether it is still a sword, yes, indeed, it is retaining the shape of the sword. But just the shape, it cannot now be utilized like the earlier sword. It cannot work that. Because now its capacity to hurt or do anything violent thing has ceased, has exhausted, has extinguished. So that's what yoga and perfection. So its shape is going to retain. And many way Mother Sri Ramakrishna again gives one example. Okay. See, like he says, as a tree grows, this palm tree grows, what happens? The matured leaves, which are the older one. So the new shoots would be coming on the top, the older one would be at the bottom. Okay. So tree is growing. So the older leaves, when they ripe, okay, and the tree does not have any more use of it. So when they ripe, so what happened? They fall off. So they fall off, that leaf is not there. Now only the vestige of it, just the impression has remained there, that once there was the leaf. So when point is that, when suppose, and this is often seen, okay, in the life of great souls, like you see Swami Vivekananda was there, you'd see his life, okay, or Sri Ramakrishna is there, or Mother is there, okay. Now they were not ordinary folks, that is another part, but from this point of angle, at one point of time, Narendra is so much earnest about having realization of God, isn't it? So there was a point in which he had not that experience, and at one point he had that experience. He had Brahmagana, he has attained that ultimate experience and everything. Okay. How much he has changed? He was equally short-tempered as he was in the childhood. Whether that thing changed, you tell me. Whether your faults are going anywhere. They are not going. You are born with that. They are going to be there. They are the poetry. Now this Brahma Jnana is only expressing, including everything, through his anger also. Only now it does not have any poison. It does not have any capacity to hurt or harm others. That person can no harm anyone. It can only wish good, kalyana of everyone. So idea of perfection is very different than we can think of in the material world. So the attitude, so here in everywhere the idea of moksha also, it is not, we are not looking for to close our register, means to nullify all our debts, good and bad, and bringing that all sum to zero, and then you become free. That is not the path. Isn't it? That we are not looking for. So all the time we are looking for the another way. How to break these jinx? That you break this association with the false ego, the false I, and everything falls off. This link is broken. Similarly, the idea of perfection in an idea of karma yoga also. This is only the idea. It is not that you know by certain by every laws and in law bylaws and every small rule and norm is, and then you perform. That is not the idea. Very immediate verse, the 19th verse. He is saying that how you are doing. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. What approach you are going to take? That all your initiatives, arambha means all your karmas. Yasya, for of such a person whose all his initiatives means all his karmas, they are kama sankalpa varjita. They are not sprouted from the desire or with such resolutions such as yoga and kshema. They are devoid of that, and he is always established in that jnana, and from that the fire of that knowledge all his karma therefore is said to be burnt. And to such a person epithet pandita can be used. Tamahu panditam buddha. So jnani is buddha, wise people, cause such a person pandita. So the idea is, the approach of karma yoga is this way. So now so here the idea was, where in the 8th chapter we were looking for. So that how you are going to contemplate upon me, and here some ideas were discussed. How you are going to, that at the time of death you remember me, and that's how it is going to affect you. How it is going to have its influence upon the individual. So these were the ideas. So what do you want to say? So see, look, I tell you, this intellectual part of understanding, it is for the individual to sort it out. It's a long way. It is your task, and it is something nobody is going to provide you that. My talk or my explanation, also how much ever your questions might be, they will not result into resolving the knots of your heart. It is you who have to come up to it. When you ask a question and when I answer, what is that? I tell you, I always explain. Look, it is like I am a salesperson in a shop and I show you a demo of a thing. When I show you a demo, that thing does not become yours. You have to get it yourself. You have to have it, you have to use it, and become adept in using that properly, any piece of technology, any piece of machinery or something else. It is never that you ask a question and I provide the solution. One very nice thing I read, that it was said, the goal of the teacher, especially in context of spiritual life, is not to give the answer to the question of the disciple, but rather the responsibility of the teacher, of the guru, is to give the right questions to the individual. Because coming to the answer is the easy part. That is not the difficult part. Coming to the right questions, that is the most difficult part. So, total art of inquiry into the truth is based on this particular skill, how you are going to frame your question. We might have thought, this is what I have learned. So, total effort and total progress is contained in this skill, that how you are going to refine and crystallize your questions. Why it is important? Because when suppose a disciple is asking a question and guru, instead of giving answer, he is raising a counter questions. What guru exactly is doing is getting that disciple to get hold of his question, that because why we don't get the answer, because question themselves, they are not owned by, this what phrase I use, that disciple or that individual, he lacks somewhere. He does not own that question fully. This is what my phrase is, that you have to own that question. It must be you. I cannot have that simply question. So many times I qualify it. So whether having an answer to it or not having it, whether it completely upsets your life, whether it is that crucial for you. So this is one of the qualifications it is required. If it is just intellectual curiosity, forget about it. So even if you have answer and understanding, it is not going to translate into anything. So unless you become it, that question become very personal for you. Without that, you cannot hope to see any benefit by having its answer or not having it. Benefit or lack of it. Now, so the progress of reaching toward this, whatsoever I say, that intellectual resolution of all sorts. Intellectual resolution, what I would say, that when fairly you have come to a point that there is no direct conflict or confusion or want of information in ideas. So it is not a small thing. It is not a small thing. Why? Because it is not just an intellectual exercise. Even if one nice book is written with explaining all their concepts, still it will fail to enlighten an individual, because a corresponding spiritual uncovering or spiritual evolution, you can say, that has to happen. Corresponding somewhat where that person, because when these things come, and then that persons become eligible to correlate to such ideas. Without that, even if there was Sri Ramakrishna living in Dakshineshwar, isn't it? Most of the village is to call him a mad person only. If there is a great artist, there also has to be connoisseur of those art. Then only they will be able to appreciate it. If there is a person who is used to listen rock and roll music, या Indian classical ध्रुपद सुनेगा तो बोलेगा something is wrong with the person. ऐसे सोचेगा वो. That why he is so slow? That's what he would think. Why this person is so slow when he is going to sing? There is no singing at all. क्लासिकल ध्रुपद देखेंगे तो 45 घंटा केवल ही करता रहेगा. गाना पीना तो बाद में खाली 2 मिनट गाएगा. That is classical ध्रुपद. All right. Who will appreciate? The person who is trained, who has come, who has got exposure, who has got that opportunity to become eligible, to appreciate that, to understand where is the talent, that hard work of that individual, where is the sadhana of decades of that artist. When he is doing that, he is not incapable person. The incapability lies at my end. Now, so my point is that one need not to neither get frustrated, neither get jumpy or impatient, but to take this idea that this is the work that you will have to go through. As long as you have curiosity, then you will have to follow it. If you do not have curiosity, then of course you are happy. If you do not have question. But question must be there. If you read something and you do not have question, then either you are Paramahansa or you are dumb. So, one of the two things. Either you have already known the thing and you do not have question, and if you do not have question, then actually things are not really interacting with your inner content. You are not able to correlate it. So that's why there would not be any, you would not be able to imbibe in its true magnitude those ideas. Now, so considering these ideas, so this intellectual pursuit will come. So we advocate both things. So your spiritual practice, your prarthana, going to temple, sadhu sangha, listening to the talks of the sadhus, and your swadhyaya also, let it go side by side, pursue it. This is a very great noble endeavor, and once any person receives or reaches that culmination, in this regard I am reminded of Swami Premeshanandaji Maharaj. He was disciple of Mother and monastic disciple of Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj. He was a great, very revered monk. He had said at one place through his letters, those book that is famous in 2 volumes, Go Forward. So he had written many letters to many young youths, some of which became monks. Not only monks, some of, as we know, they become vice president of the order also. They become guru in their late years. So Swami Premeshanandaji Maharaj, in one of his letters, he says that, see, even the intellectual understanding, I mean the perfect understanding, intellectual understanding of this Atman is no less a thing. It is a mini realization. It is no small thing. Why? Because this fluidity, this resolution of all what you say, these knots or any hiccups or any resistance between when you are rationally trying to understand these ideas, and they have make perfectly they make perfect sense. Then only when this is done, then only we see this process of its maturing into emotion, going into next stage of your correlation to these ideas, assimilation, imbibing those things and maturing it and paving way for action. This happens. So definitely, so it's a path, it is to be pursued, but it must be looked in this way. So many times I say, so in the spiritual life, whatever help you take, so it is always a negative credit. So because your challenges are the only thing which are going to take you forward. Always remember this. So when somebody is solving that challenge for you, you are robbed of that opportunity. So you lose one opportunity. you will have to negotiate. Of course, not everything you can do, and you will have to seek some demos from others, how they approach a subject, how they analyze a subject, and you will have to, but that is the thing. But eventually you will have to look further to become self-reliant, because answers have to come from within you. All right. So, because in spiritual life we see many times, and in tradition, so now here you see mantra diksha is going to happen. So in every center of Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission, so these yearly once or twice, these events occur where Maharajis who are appointed as they are president and vice president, and who are empowered to give spiritual initiation, mantra diksha, they come here and give mantra diksha, spiritual initiation to the interested individuals. By the time they are anointed as guru, vice president and presidents, so by that time they have already come of a very late age. So like they might have already spent 50, 60 years as monk in the order. So they are already at the age of 80, around 80 minimum. So from that time onwards they start. Okay, right. Now, so people who come, happen to come in association with the Ramakrishna Math and listening these talks which are delivered here through various programs and this literature. So lot of curiosity, lot of this inspiration they get, lot of motivation they get. And the people who have really got something within them from their previous lives, so naturally they will immediately able to catch up, gravitate towards it, and they are eager for spiritual initiation. They want to deliberately try to live this life, to practice the spiritual discipline. They can they are very naturally then attracted towards this idea. Now many of them, so what is happening, seeing the monks which are giving discourses, sometimes they form the idea. हम लोग फिर उनका इंटरव्यू लेते कि तुम दीक्षा क्यों लेना चाहते हो, तुम्हारी क्या धारणा है, क्या समझा. Many times what people say, you see, that Guru will, he will show me the path, or like he will give me advice. Many times that those words have connotation or ring like that, as if he will be his personal mentor or coach. Then as soon as I see this, and I say to him, मैंने बोला भाई मैं तो साधु बन के आया, सब कुछ छोड़ के आया था, ठीक है कि नहीं. मेरे गुरु ने दीक्षा देने के बाद एक बार भी मेरे से बात भी नहीं की. अभी तुम सोचो तुम कितने पानी में हो, तुम्हारा क्या होगा, अभी तुम मुझे बताओ, तुमको क्या लगता है. When I took Diksha, my Guru has already got paralysis. केवल मंत्र का आधा पोर्शन, पूरा मंत्र भी नहीं बोला, आधा पोर्शन बोला, आधा उनके सेक्रेटरी ने बोला, इतना ही बोला मंत्र, बाकी का कुछ नहीं. वो क्या बोल रहे मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. He had half paralysis. What is your idea of Guru? What is idea of spirituality? तुमको क्या लगता है गुरु कौन है? तुमको बताएगा कि तुमको ये जॉब में रहना चाहिए, छोड़ के दूसरी जगह पे सीवी डालना चाहिए. क्या है गुरु को क्या सोच के रखा है कि तुमको प्रमोशन मांगना चाहिए, दूसरी जगह पे फ्लैट लेना चाहिए, हाँ क्या करना चाहिए, इसके साथ मतलब शादी करेगा नहीं करेगा. क्या गुरु को क्या समझ के रखा है? और यही ट्रेडिशन है. माँ आती थी, मैं तुम्हारी गुरु हूं बेटा, ये तुम्हारा मंत्र है, ये तुम्हारा इष्ट है, जाओ. कितने एपिसोड है कि द बिकम हु बिकेम स्टॉलवर्ड्स एंड विदाउट डाउट दे बिकम परमहंस इन देयर लाइफ. कि एक दिन अचानक एक आदमी आया, वो लेबर काम करता था, ये जो दूसरा आदमी शिष्य है लेबर काम करता था, बीबी है, 4 बच्चे हैं उसके. अचानक एक आदमी आया, उसको बोलता है मैं तुम्हारा गुरु हूं, ये तुम्हारा मंत्र है, ऐसा ध्यान करना, आ रहा हूं मैं, खत्म बात. हो गया, कुछ नहीं। वो वहां से जो रेती ईट उठा रहा था, वैसे के वैसे, कोई नहाना नहीं, धोना नहीं, कुछ मतलब कुछ नहीं, ये नहीं वो नहीं, उसके सामने आए, मैं तुम्हारा गुरु हूं, ये तुम्हारा मंत्र है, ऐसे ध्यान करना, आ रहा हूं मैं। एंड विद इन नो टाइम, इट डज नॉट टेक 6 years. आई एम टेलिंग द स्टोरी ऑफ निसर्ग दत्त महाराज. He sat on the very throne of his guru. He became the head of spiritual, head of all those people. He is illiterate person. कैसे होता है, क्या समझा है गुरु को? So the idea of spiritual knowledge, idea of guru initiation. So these things we'll have to really come to understand when we are discussing these ideas. This is not just intellectual junket. ओल्ड एज का टाइम पास नहीं है ये, कि चलो भाई अभी तो हो गया है, अभी तो क्या कुछ मतलब क्या करना है, बाकी का पॉलिटिक्स से भी मन उब गया है, मेरा पार्टी तो कोई जीतता ही नहीं है ना, बिजनेस में भी सब साला शेयर मतलब इधर ये हो गया है, कुछ इंटरेस्ट नहीं रहा है ना, बीवी भी ठीक से पत्ता नहीं देती, बेटा तो अपना ऐसा है, बहू भी ऐसी है, क्या करूं, तो चलो रामकृष्ण मठ में जाता हूं, हाँ वहां पे जाके स्वामी जी तो ऐसा कुछ समथिंग. सो ऑल राइट, फॉर एवरी इंडिविजुअल दिस व्हाट एवर इज लाइफ, एंड कि एवरी पर्सन वुड बी सीकिंग कंफर्ट, दैट इज अनदर पार्ट. बट द आइडिया ऑफ what we call as spiritual knowledge is not just intellectual stuff. It is not just intellectual ratiocination. It is not just talk. कोई प्रश्न है पूछा, तो ऐसे बहुत बार अभी मेरे साथ तो हम साधु लोगों के साथ ऐसा सबका एक करीब करीब एक्सपीरियंस रहता है कि कुछ लोग, कोई युवा होता है, कोई मतलब छोटा बड़ा ऐसा, जिनका ऐसा अंडरस्टैंडिंग रहता है, तो स्वामी जी के साथ बात करने के लिए रोज आ जा रहा है, महाराज एक प्रश्न पूछो, अच्छा हम बोलो, तो ये प्रश्न है वो प्रश्न है, बहुत चर्चा करते हैं. तो कभी कभी अच्छे व्यक्ति मिलने पर भी मैं कभी कभी उनको ऐसा बोल देता हूं कि देखो मैं तुमको इससे ज्यादा एंटरटेन नहीं करूंगा, तो इसलिए मैं तुमको 3 अपॉर्चुनिटी देता हूं, तो तुमको मुझे अगर प्रश्न पूछना है तो तुम एक ऐसे समय पूछना कि जो मुझे पूछे बगैर तुमको लगता है निर्वाह नहीं होगा, वही प्रश्न पूछना. नहीं तो तुम सोचो कि तुम्हारा कभी कभी ये बात डिस्करेजिंग भी हो जाती है कि वो आदमी फिर सोचना ही छोड़ देता है, ऐसा भी हो जाता है. और ऐसे कितने लोग मैं देख देता हूं कि इसको ही बैसाखी बना लेते हैं, इसको ही सब कुछ बना लेते हैं, बहुत पढ़ते हैं, बहुत चर्चा करते हैं, और उसके बाद कुछ नहीं. अरे मैंने बोला वो खाने का बर्तन का केवल आवाज ही आ रहा है, खाना किधर है? कुछ खिलाएगा, पेट भरेगा, तेरा भी मेरा भी, या फिर खाली बर्तन का ही आवाज करेगा? सो वर्ड इज नॉट द नॉलेज. नॉलेज इज समथिंग दैट वर्ड इज, इसलिए एक ही शब्द है, एक व्यक्ति बोलता है तो हम बोलते हैं हाँ ठीक है, बराबर है. दूसरा वही बोलते व्यक्ति अगर कोई बोल देते तो भाग यहां से, या फिर किसी तरह से हम उसकी नापसंदी दिखाते कि तुम नहीं समझे है, तो बोलेगी कि ये व्यक्ति तो यही बोला है, ये मैं भी तो वही बोल रहा हूं, पर तुम्हारे शब्दों से मेरा तात्पर्य ज्ञान का नहीं, मैं तुम्हारे शब्द सुनकर मैं तुमको इवेल्युएट नहीं कर रहा हूं. So when you are in this business, when I can understand, you will also understand. Everybody will understand. It's just matter of exposure, experience, and when you get the thing, you will know. तुम दूसरे आदमी का भी मतलब समझ सकोगे, सिंपल सी बात है. तो बट दिस इज थिंग इज दैट स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ इज रियल थिंग. ये कोई विश्वास नहीं है ना, मैं ऐसा मैं सोच ला, मैंने खुद को सोच लिया मैं बहुत बड़ा स्पिरिचुअल हूं, ऐसे बोलने से कुछ नहीं होगा. सो दिस इज द रियल समथिंग. When you acquire something, you get that substance is formed, you get that weight, your ability, your grasp, this tangibility of these ideas, that you are precise, you mean the business. So these things will improve. So that's why it is not तो कोई दीक्षा लेने आता है तो उनको हम ये बातें मैं कोशिश करता हूं कि try to impress upon those minds of those people that see this diksha is not something that holy social life. सोशल लाइफ चाहिए हमको तो ये भी बोरिंग है, ये भी ठीक नहीं लगता, तो हाँ इधर अच्छा है. और होली एंटरटेनमेंट, क्योंकि आज के सिनेमा के गाने में क्या बज रहा है कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, इससे अच्छा भजन सुन लेता हूं. है कि नहीं. और मठ में आकर हाँ प्रसाद बोले, क्या अभी इतना सब पिज्जा बर्गर सब खाया, कितना वेज नॉन वेज सब खाया, महाराज मठ का प्रसाद बहुत अच्छा, एकदम तृप्त हो गया मन. हाँ ठीक है. सो वेरियस वेज पीपल एसोसिएट, दे कैन बी स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट, नॉट टू बी डिस्करेज, but always this idea has to be born in our mind that they are not thing in itself, they are not aim in itself, they are means, they are supposed to take you forward somewhere. तो किताबें पढ़ना है, प्रश्न आना है, संशय आना है, उसकी चर्चा है, सभी पर ये सभी एक दिशा में हमको किसी और बढ़ के लेके जाएंगे, लेकिन ऐसा होना चाहिए. तो मैंने ये किताब पढ़ लिया, ये गीता पढ़ लिया, ये व्याख्या पढ़ लिया, वो व्याख्या पढ़ लिया, सब कुछ कर लिया, इतना सब किताब पढ़ लिया, बहुत सारे मतलब ऐसा लेक्चर बढ़िया चल रहा है, लोग भी अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं, एक दो आर्टिकल भी लिख दिए, किताब भी लिख दिया. हाँ अच्छा ही बात है, इसके साथ साथ करस्पॉन्डिंग अगर मतलब ये भी हो रहा है अंदर, तो तुमको दैट पर्सन हिमसेल्फ, whosoever himself or herself, man or woman, so that peace, that faith, it will translate into action, your outlook into life, it will be solid something. It will not be just figment of your imagination. So that's what we are trying to hunt, we are trying to look for, trying to grasp. That is our prayer. So this what I said in context of प्रश्न है, हम प्रश्न आने अच्छे हैं, उसको डिस्करेज नहीं करना चाहिए. और पर कभी कभी और हम सब लोगों को एक बात ये भी ध्यान रखनी है कि हम सब, we are all, we are traveling on this curve, on this path of spirituality. Every one of us is unique. We are not supposed to compare ourselves with any other person. We are ourselves, our own unique story. We are what we are with our strengths, our weaknesses, our good, bad, ugly, our shortcoming, our pitfalls, or whatever nonsense. That all that bundle, that's what we are. Now this understanding, knowledge, and then acceptance of it, and then only comes the question of the making these amendments. This self knowledge and self acceptance, when they are truly achieved in your life in any part, it is not like that there is absolute something self knowledge and absolute, this is in every bit. When that happens, when you are analyzing your own self, your own behavior, and you discover that how you were wrong and how you were defending yourself, what were your fears, what were your concerns, and now you show some guts. तुम्हारे पेट में गुड़गुड़ होता है कि कैसे मतलब मैं इसको हाँ बोलूं, है ना. वो ट्रूली फिजिकली आई एम स्पीकिंग, कि तुमको रियली करेज दिखाना पड़ता है. किसी ऊंचे जगह पे लेके जाओगे तो बोलेंगे तुमको जंप करना है, तुम नीचे देखोगे तो पेट में मतलब ऐसा ऐसा बबल्स होने लगता है. व्हेन यू विल बी दैट योर माइंड विल ब्रिंग इट अक्रॉस टू यू, that would be a moment that you would accept those things, you will know that you are at fault, and when that acceptance will be fully done, you will be relieved, you will be living with your faults, and So that's why the idea of perfection and आइडिया ऑफ आवर अप्रोच टू स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप अपने सब दोष दूर कर पाएंगे, ऐसा नहीं होगा। आप सब बार जीत जाएंगे, आप सब बातें ठीक कर लेंगे, ऐसा नहीं होगा। दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू लिव विथ। इट इज नॉट दैट यू आर नॉट सपोज टू परस्यू समथिंग ट्राइंग टू डू गुड, दैट इज नॉट, दैट इज कंप्लीटली विथ अ रॉन्ग अंडरस्टैंडिंग। But not that. So when that kind of idea, that kind of chill and that cool attitude, and then so this is what when you are not in tune with the truth, then there are complexes. When you are tuned with the truth, when मैं एक व्यक्ति हूं कि जो मैंने मतलब मेरे ऐसे 10 महीने से गलत काम किए हैं, ये भी मेरा दोष है, ये भी मेरी गलती है, ठीक है कि नहीं? यू सी समटाइम you will meet different kind of people. Okay. You many time who are working in the lower rung of the society in jobs, hierarchies, many times you will find they are very happy people. So they have different challenges in their life. ये poverty है, ये education है, या फिर ये ठीक नहीं, वो ठीक नहीं, और वहाँ की काफी सारी बातें. But how they have accepted and how they are living, so there is something to learn, and especially when we are talking in the context of spiritual life. So it is not complacency, it is not you should not try, or you should be happy you are not doing enough work. No, that is not that idea we are talking about. So there is this maturity, it comes to the individuals. It may go after once that realization comes to the people, it comes to the people that not everything you can change with others, or mostly with yourself. This is the greatest realization. And how do you take it? People, when they get fed up and they try to indulge themselves into some abuse or other. This is the worldly way. But mostly, if this spiritual realization come, this peace will come. That all right, I am not very good. And what will happen as soon as this acceptance becomes truly mature, truly genuine, your knot of the heart is cut. That flow starts. Everything. Now it is like the great point of this perfection or this moksha or spiritual life is you are supposed to dissociate yourself. You are clinging to it, that this is my fault, I have to correct it. You are supposed to dissociate yourself. It is only a part you are also supposed to play. And you are holding it fast. नहीं, ये मैं एकदम होने नहीं दूंगा, ये ठीक करना ही, ये मुझे बिल्कुल पसंद है, ये मुझे एकदम मंजूर नहीं, मैं ये हो, तुम जानते नहीं कि ये मेरा ये प्रिंसिपल है, ये मैं ये कभी टॉलरेट नहीं करूंगा, एक्सेट्रा. यू आर ऑल द टाइम डिफाइनिंग योरसेल्फ so hard. You are working yourself up. You are trying to lose that. That is the idea. You come, you accept, you play. This is that role. It is with these faults. It is with these sins. It is with these shortcomings. When you are okay with it, then immediately that poison is lost. Immediately sting has lost, and you have become free. When acceptance will come, you will become free. Peace will come. That Saralata, Sri Ramakrishna had said, and that is the necessary condition, I will see, to receive the grace of God. That indeed is the grace of God. As soon as it comes, when you will become free, like that sword does not change its shape, it doesn't turn into a ringing bell in the temple. It still remains retained the shape of the sword. You are with the fault. You are free from it now. Suppose you will never be doing it for your some petty self-interest of yours to provide for yourself. That selfishness, that is gone. and that individual is free. So how you become free? You become free by this way. So this is about spiritual life, perfection, and trying these ideas, because it's we are going to travel a long journey. We cannot be just easily get frustrated. So have a little chill attitude and let us go on working. That should be the mindset. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.